I'd like to call the Proctor Selectboard July 14th meeting to order. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first order of business is to review and approve the agenda. If we could add the July 8th special select board meeting minutes. So a motion will be in order with that addition.
Motion to approve the June 24th and July 8th select board meeting minutes.
We're doing the agenda right now. Just to add the July 8th to the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? A motion will be in order to approve the July 24th and July 8th select board meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Open public comment. Anything anybody has to share?
Nope.
Lots of things, but I'm not. I was thinking, what do we have? Oh, they have the soccer camp going on. And we had our first concert in the park, which was really successful with Brian Baker cooking. And we had Sunday Sisters come with ice cream. It was nice. It was a great turnout. So, and our next one is July
27th.
Yeah, July 27th. So, all right. Everyone's had an opportunity to review and approve the bills, and we received a letter. I don't even know what they've done with it. From the Atwoods. Jesus, what I did. What did I do with it? How could I have lost it? We were just right here.
Did you bring it out?
Yeah. And what they'd like to do is assume ownership of White's Crossing. There's like 4 houses there, and I have no idea what it is. Oh, I put it over here. And they sent a letter. There's 4 houses there, and they own all of them currently. It says, hello, we would like to know if the town of Proctor would like to discontinue White's Crossing as a town road. We're interested in taking over maintenance and plowing of the road, as we own 3 of the 4 houses located on this road. We understand that there is a right-of-way for landowners who have property at the dead-end portion of the road. Thank you for your time in this matter, Louise and Ernest Atwood. So, if there's no objection, what I'd like to have Judy do, clearly, is to send an email to the Atwood saying that they need to provide a legal proposal to us, what that would look like, you know, because I think while they own 3 of the 4 houses now, I mean, it's difficult to see the future, and what would that look like, you know? Yeah, what, so that they need to contact an attorney and provide documentation about what that would look like, taking that over, and if property changed ownership. So
Yeah, because if it involves a transfer of deed, you know, if there's a title search and all that, I don't want the town paying money to transfer a road that we own to someone else.
Where is he located?
off Florence Road.
Atwood's Farm?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was just gonna ask, the one house that's not part of the sale,
Yeah.
where is that located? Did you say it was on a?
I am guessing it's a house the way they said it, but then they said there's property at the dead.
There's a
end.
house at the
I brought
end.
a burn
There's a
permit
house
down there,
at
and I'm
the-
wondering, you know, what input would that homeowner have as to road maintenance if it's privately owned?
Right. And so that could be part of the request to them, is to provide, have them provide a letter of support, in them taking over the road.
There is a house at the entrance to the road to the right, which actually faces Florence. So the actual entrance is Florence. It's not that road.
Yeah.
No,
So-
but there's property, they said, at the dead end that belongs
Okay.
to somebody else.
Yeah, the road goes way past the house, the actual last house too, out past there.
Yes, there's metals back there.
So I think that it would be appropriate to ask them to provide a letter from other property owners on the road as to their support for that. And I think when it comes back, then we could have a more in-depth conversation.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
It does.
Yes,
The
it
front,
does.
the house that is not Atwood's is on the front, and then the three are in the back? Is that where,
Yeah, along the side, yeah.
that road is, they're the only ones on that road?
Well, then somebody owns property at the very end of it, somebody
Oh.
else. That's
They'd have to
the,
have access.
yeah. So,
And are they proposing just to, when they say take ownership of it,
it would no longer count, like, we would no longer plow it, we would no longer do
are
anything.
they looking to purchase this?
I think it would probably, if everything went through, I mean, you'd probably do like $1 or something like that. I mean, it's not like you're gonna sell it for $5,000, the road.
Right, no, I didn't know what.
Yeah. I think it would be something like that. But I think receiving having them provide a letter from any property owner on the road showing support, and then them providing a legal proposal. So we're not investing the town manager's time, and we're not investing our money in doing that would be the appropriate
Yeah, that
manner.
might affect their miles of road by,
Yeah.
And then too, I would
100
wonder,
feet or something.
about the impact it'll have on the appraised value of those properties. Whether it's standalone, public access to the road,
Yeah.
they have a value. Then if it's a private road,
But we have a private road currently in
on
town.
Larry's Lane, yes, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that impacts property value one way or the other. I'm not sure how, but I mean, we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
certainly ask.
Yeah, Felisa, if
Yeah.
Felisa had input,
Yeah,
an opinion on that.
yeah. We could certainly ask for
Because I
that.
can't believe forever those properties are gonna stay in the Atwood family.
Atwood family.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of the future concern, not for us, but
No,
just.
right.
Yeah.
For them, yeah.
Okay, credit card for utility payments. You have, so you had information in your packet, 2 packet handouts. So if Judy wants to share
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, a lot of these aren't like local, so it's kind of hard to track people down just to get an initial package deal and what it would look like and stuff. But I just printed these out, so it kind of gives you a narrative and kind of explanation of both. The Municipay sounded good. A lot of them do credit cards, but they do online payments. So I think at this time, if we didn't want to visit that, doing everything online and just having people be able to call in with a credit card or come in with a credit card, I think that's like the first step maybe of trying to take credit card payments. I did mention it to Celia, and she said if we're going to do it for the utilities, then she might consider doing it for taxes too. But I don't know if she feels it's the treasurer's decision and not ours or yours.
But utilities are.
Well, the water and sewer follow the water and sewer commission.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
So, I mean, if she wants to do it for property taxes, that would be
Right,
her decision.
right.
So, but with respect.
So I just wanted you guys to kind of review these two. I'm gonna get some more details, and they have even online like trainings to walk you through it, so it kind of goes. The other towns have given me a couple. One is more, again, online, online payments and stuff like that, which is gonna be another cost factor, so that'd be, I think, further down the road for budget purposes.
And
then-
this one didn't have any costs associated with it, right? Is
Price
it-
competitively, yes, that's what Municipay said.
Well, a lot of them don't. You purchase the equipment for the credit card swiping. Most often, that's what you do. And then there's a fee built in for every card swipe. But
But
what
it's
most
not
towns do
us.
is they bill the fee into the consumer.
That's what Municipay does, yes, and they provide the equipment free of
Right.
charge.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good program, though.
But
Yeah, I kind of like that. There was another one they gave me, and every time I brought it up, it brought me to a different, like another Gov site, and then Some of those are really deep into a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, like they do permitting, they do dog licenses, they do everything, so,
Did the municipality, did anybody else locally do that one, do you know?
no.
Do we know what people do locally or we don't?
Yeah, the ones, West Rutland does, what's it called, GovPay? That's the one that was online.
What is it, GovPay?
Gov something, yeah, I
Okay.
think. I have to double check. And then the one in Pittsburgh too, it brought me to a different site every time I looked it up, so I don't know if it's another name that they're using, it's just one of their affiliates or what.
Okay.
But, and I reached out to the town manager and she got back to me, but the treasurer hasn't, and they're the ones who set it all up, so.
Okay. Albert?
I was gonna say, the most shocking thing, I think, about reading that was the user fee to use a credit card, 2 to 3%, you know, on the one offer, and municipality didn't even list fee
Right.
for using the service. You know, a lot of people may be a little surprised that they're gonna be paying, you know, 2 to 3%, you know, you're paying,
They could
you
get a
know,
lot.
$2,000, $3,000 annual taxes if we use it for your municipal side.
Right.
And $1,000 for, you know, our fees for water and sewer, you know, that 2%'s what, $20, just $10 each time
Right.
just to pay with your credit card. You know,
Or
that's.
they all, or some of them let it go so long they're paying more than that in
Yeah,
fees
well,
anyway.
Right.
So it's, and even if you go to the snack bar now, they ask you if it's cash or credit card. If it's credit card, they
Right,
charge
you're
a
right. Yeah.
percent.
Small convenience stores charge you,
Yeah, so
use a credit
I
card.
think that's just really kind of
Okay, yeah.
the way it's going to do
Yep.
transactions.
They're not gonna look to us to say the town is gonna
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah.
And I can look into some others too to try to see if they vary. So, you know, if the percentage rates are say 2.25 versus, you know, 4%,
Yeah.
then, you know,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Some were variable, and I think the options were variable and locked in
Yep.
rate. So I don't know what the difference was.
So I just think it would be to our advantage. Huh?
As to, you know, maybe they've got some suggestions or,
Yeah, I can reach out to them. They haven't been very
yeah, they haven't been.
helpful, actually. But I can see if they even have a list of people, you know, they might know
Or
other towns
list
that
of
use.
tons that you
Right.
could.
Yeah,
call.
preferred vendors
Yeah.
maybe.
I just started kind of locally, you know, just to see, but I can ask
Yeah.
other ones too.
Yeah.
I do think it's certainly something to continue to pursue because we have so many properties that are held by out of towners or out of state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That,
definitely.
you know, we might see money come in quicker also
Yep.
Right.
if
Yeah.
that option existed.
So
And
what I'll try to do is get like a list, like a number of different
Don't have a.
companies.
Yeah.
And then do a spreadsheet, list them, what their rates are, any
Yeah.
other hidden fees and, you know, accessibility, things like that. So you guys have a better idea.
and maybe like if there are people that use it, like
Yeah,
are there,
who does? Yeah.
you know, 5 people in Vermont that use it, or there, you know, 500 nationwide or something,
Yeah.
just to give an idea. Because that's the other thing, you don't want to buy equipment and be with someone, and then in 2 years they've gone belly up.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think it's good to keep this on the agenda. Is everybody good with that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And, you know, with respect to the clerk, I mean, I think maybe if she wants to wait and see how it works for utilities, you know,
Yeah.
see what the hiccups are, and then maybe,
Add that.
yeah, if she wants to add property, but I think that, this is clearly within our purview.
No, I think so.
All right, motion would be in order at 6:20 to go into the Board of Water Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so, we're talking about here, I'll just pass this around. These were, I looked up definitions for things, and the one you could find the most definitions for, so I put in 5 or 6, were curb stop. And that did seem to be the thing we had kind of the most, I don't
There's a
know.
lot of definitions for curb.
Oh, there were like probably 1,000 definitions for curb stop. But it seemed like that was one of the things we had one of the bigger hiccups about, like, what is a curb stop? Where is a curb stop? So that was one thing. And we don't have to start with that. We can start wherever people want. So is there some place where people want to start? I think we started on page, I mean, because some of the things that are like on page 2 and things like that were like, I don't know,
Yes.
didn't even know what they were.
Yeah, it's added in as a.
And I think part of it is like, just like Judy said before about zoning, it's trying to clean up the language, so if someone reads this, they, as a lay person, understand like what it means, like if you need, you know, like a building connection line or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Albert, just go, it's too hot to.
I would like to start with the B. You know, the first thing I would like to do, and a lot of this originates.
Start with what? Tell me again.
B boy. You know, I want to add a couple of new words, or just put out, you know, the potential of adding possibly 2 new
What is
definitions.
Yeah, I don't understand what's B.
I'm gonna give them to you.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Is it under?
That start with the letter B.
To this, okay.
I
You
was
know,
like,
and I'm gonna say, it originates, you know, from the inspection I did there, some of the issues that I saw here, and,
okay.
you know,
Oh. It's a good place.
yeah, and so, I'm just gonna, as we get to the letters, I'll be bringing them up. But the
Okay.
first new definition I would like for everybody to consider is a base fee. And what is a base fee? Shall mean a minimum water charge per business or dwelling unit over a specified time period that is assessed to the owner of each unit regardless of water consumption. And in the definition here, you will see that it mentions business unit or dwelling unit. And that's not to be confused with the definitions in the current glossary, in that we talk about what's a residential building, we talk about what's a industrial structure, and we also talk about what's a commercial building. So those are building types. These are the units. Now we currently have a dwelling unit, and you will see that when we get into it. The one we don't currently have is a business unit. And so, you know, and 2, when we come to charging people, we're not going to be saying you're getting charged me, you. Everybody is going to be charged a base unit. And what is a base unit? And that's where this goes back. You know, the definition, we can, you know, if we put it in there, address it and fine tune it. So that's the first one I'd like to add, is a base fee. And the second unit, or the second item, B, I'd like to add is a business unit. We've got in currently, like I said, the dwelling unit. I'd like to add a business unit, and the business unit shall mean any place where business is carried out or where employees are stationed, included but not limited to an office, a store, beauty salon, gas station, restaurant, school, clinic, or any other place that is non-residential and is separately operated and distinguished from other businesses in the same building. That's the key. We need something that says is, you know, for separately operated and distinguished from other businesses in the same building. You know,
Like Zion.
Zion's. You know, there's a big building. You got the marble exhibit. You've got Proctor Marble. You've got the carpenter shop. You've got Zion's portion using it with storage, for storage. Then what's going to happen up here to 61, the White House? You know, they could rent each floor. Are they going to say, because I have one service connection coming into my house, you can only charge me one? No, we need something that says, no, you've got separately operated and distinguished from other businesses in the same building, in that building. So they're each going to be looked at to see if they have to be charged a base fee.
But can you read the beginning of it again? Because to me it says 2 different things.
Okay, shall mean any place where business is carried out or where employees are stationed, included but not limited, you know, to, and then it just lists some examples.
So it could be the church, it could be the
Yes,
library.
it's gonna be the schools.
Well, the schools are already one of your bigger ones that you charge.
Well, the business unit's gonna include all of what's defined as a commercial structure and all of what's identified as a, or no, commercial building, industrial, they call them structures. Why they change it, I don't know, but that's gonna capture those units. Those are the buildings and the structures. Now we gotta capture the units, just like we do with the dwelling unit. It's a dwelling unit. You've got a residential building, which may have 2 apartments in it. Well, each dwelling is one of those apartments. But in the end, this is just a proposal, Lisa. It's hot, and
No, I'm just thinking, I'm listening, I'm just.
Well, I think the thing missing there was that being occupied at the same time. Is where I'm seeing it. Like you mentioned, like the church or the school, you can do different functions, but you can't do all these functions at the same time.
no. But all I
Over
said,
here, you got 3 different
Yeah, but some,
businesses running at the same time. They're capable of running
And each one's a different unit,
at the same time.
right?
but that's
Well,
not
no,
what the
I'm
begin,
just
that's
saying-
not what the beginning is that's why I said the definition says 2 things.
and is separately operated and distinguished from other businesses in the same
Yeah,
building.
but if you read the first part and you list all of them, it's like semicolon, and then the second part.
Well, we went
Because
down.
if it's not, then schools and the library wouldn't fall under that because you're only doing one thing in each of those. They fall under the first part, but they wouldn't fall under the.
No, that's right. This is only for those that are, separate from, like this building. Zion is the owner. They're under the first part of that. They're the business owner. That's the business. Well, he's rented out separately distinguished sections of that building to other businesses. Now, how do we
Right.
capture those?
I think that
And you're
if you
looking at-
share the definitions with Judy then, so we can have copies
Yes,
of them.
yes, that's, that's.
It's
that's what I
easier to
like
look
do.
at them too.
Yes.
So then you're looking to have each business that's in there as a unit.
Yes.
Okay.
They would get charged 1 base fee.
Just like it used to be.
Right. So if the big building up here were to put in apartments and then a store and then a laundromat, they'd all be separate units.
Yes,
Yeah.
they'd be charged. How does Simon's get charged 17 units? That's commercial,
Right.
that's
Post office.
dwelling units, and
Yeah.
there's a commercial unit in there.
Right.
How come they get charged 17, and over here, there's 3 working businesses, and Zion has storage, it could be 4, how come they're only charged 0.93?
Because the
There's
board
something-
voted on it.
Yeah,
There's something wrong here, so we gotta try and capture,
Okay.
and put that in our policy. So like Lisa said, anybody that reads it, they come up with the same solution. It's, it's a building, it's a separate a business in that building that is distinguished from the rest of the business, and it can be charged a base unit.
Okay,
yeah, if you can send that to Judy and she can
all right.
push it out to everybody and,
Do you have another one in there or no?
yeah.
No more Bs?
No more Bs.
Okay. So I'll just give you my handout for Cs, for curb stop, and you can just, I have no expectation we're picking anything. I think it's more just,
Wasn't commissioners also circled?
did we?
I had commissioners circled.
Commissioner, oh.
I didn't, you guys threw it out there, I didn't. Albert?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was talking about my sheet with the new additions, and then I go back to my notes here, and there's one more B word that I would just like to mention or discuss just for a little bit. That's building connection line.
What, billing collection line?
Building
Section
connection
4,
line.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that one.
Yeah, it's a little confusing to read that. Yep.
That hurt us.
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna point out, again,
We
because
have
we had this
construction
discussion in
standards.
the last sentence. Once installed, the responsibility for maintenance and repairs of the building connection line and all costs associated therein shall be borne by the property owner. Just wanted to call that part out, because,
And do we have local construction standards as adopted by the commissioners?
I don't know. I don't know that.
I don't know.
yeah.
I haven't seen them.
And then the other point I was gonna bring up with that one is, you know, existing lines, we know some lines don't have curb stops. What do we do if there's no curb stop? That connection line, does that go from the main, the corporation, to that shut off? Or how are we gonna capture those prior to, you know, the new ordinance where you have to put in a curb stop, you know? Who's responsible now? And then I was gonna say that one of the ordinances I looked at said that it goes to the property line. Now, I don't know if we wanna do that, or just, or what are we gonna do?
What do you mean, their responsibility?
Well,
The
who's
curb
responsible
stop's
for
supposed
one
to
with
be
no
on
curb
the-
stop? We've got them. Who's responsible for that line? Is a homeowner? We know the homeowner is to the curb stop, but there is no curb stop. I don't know if this should say, if no curb stop exists.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The homeowner is responsible to.
The main?
To the main.
Well, that can be problematic because you could have
Right.
more than one on that line. So I think it would be to our advantage that each, let's just take a duplex, for example. Most duplexes come out in Y, right?
Yes,
So,
with the exception of Simon's. I can't believe there's more than one water line going into that building.
which one?
Simon's, the apartment house on the corner.
Well, I guess, so if say, so somebody be off the hook if there's an issue. If you have a curb stop and it's say 5 feet from your house and you just own from there to the 5 foot to your house, that you maintain that, and then someone has no curb stop and you say, well, there's no curb stop, so you're not responsible for any of it, then that's a huge issue.
of equity,
That's what I say. I like that one in the one I read where they have it the property line. If there's no curb stop, you're responsible to the property line.
to the if there's no curb stop,
there's
you're,
no curb,
you're
to the
responsible to
property.
the
Oh, okay.
property line.
You know, if there's a curb stop, it's already there. That's clean.
Right.
That's clean. With the exception of when we get to the connection line, you know, if it's on private property.
But it seems like you almost have to decide one way or the other, because our curb stop used to be in the town right away. Now the curb stop is on our property. So that's a substantial change. So it seems to me like if you're gonna pick people own to X, they need to own to X. Either they own to, and for some people owning to the property line, it's gonna be this far. I mean, if you, at some houses, like say on
Market
South
Street.
Street. And some houses, you're gonna, like, on the hill, you could own a lot further if it's to the property line. You could own twice as far.
But the thing is, that would be, right, that would be, on the new construction, it's gonna be on the town property right of way. That's what the ordinance says, if it's new construction.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna rewrite it, why not just make it clean? Why not just say, property owners are responsible to the property line, or property owners are responsible to curb stop? And if there's no curb stop, the disadvantage is for us, if there's a problem on a line, in order to shut it off.
But I think the new construction, Lisa, is clean and good. That's the one with the curb stops. I don't think we need to touch that.
Problem is, but we're not gonna have a lot of new construction.
Yeah,
The
but-
problem we have is existing construction, that people don't know where curb stops are. Curb stops are such junk, because they've never been used or turned, that once you turn them. So, that's why I think, like, to me, it's great to think about future construction, but, I mean,
I don't want to jump ahead to the building connection line.
Yeah.
But that defines, you know, the service or the service connection line. That just defines the service line from corporation to curb stop. And that says the building connection line is from curb stop to into the cellar. You know, we can leave everything like that, and we can accept that, okay, if your curb stop is on private property, the town is still gonna pay for it to the curb stop. The thing is, we're gonna move the curb stop where it belongs. We'll take care of that, and the homeowner takes care of, you know, from the curb stop into the house. All that is clean and applicable. It's the only thing is, for those ones on private property, we would have to dig up the private property to get to that curb stop, to take it out and connect the lines, to put the curb stop back, you know, in the right of way.
What are we doing? What is, say the Mullins house down on Pat Street?
Yeah.
That was new. I mean, they redid the house, but I know they dug up the water, or up to the water to connect. They had to put in new lines. I don't know if there's an actual curb stop on that property or not, and if they needed to put one in.
I think there's a curb stop because then they had the water shut off.
Say again?
Talking across from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the water shut off, so there has to be a curb stop.
Yeah, so they've got a curb stop there.
Yeah, so there was already a curb stop set up.
Yeah,
I believe so, because I believe they shut the water off.
they wouldn't have been able to put the new line in without a curb stop.
Right, I didn't know,
Shut off.
right, I didn't know what they had done, if one was installed, if there was already an existing one there, well.
Yeah, I'm sure if it's an existing one, it's disconnected. They would have disconnected the old one.
Robert has a question.
yeah.
Can we just move on?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
leave
good
that?
to move
We'll
on.
leave that one, just,
Yeah.
we got to be able to address
No,
if
no,
there's
no,
no
it's
curb
fine.
stop.
It's
Who's
fine.
responsible for what portion?
Okay.
You know, and-
Commissioners,
and What's
is,
there is good.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, commissioners, is there something we wanna clean up there? Are we supervising the town of Proctor Water Department? I don't think we are.
I don't think so.
I would take out in commissioners supervising the town of Proctor Water Department. We have a town manager, that's outside of our purview. We can make and establish water rates, charges, rules, regulations, but the employees belong to the town manager. And I think like in connection fee, instead of saying two applicants who apply, I think it should say two legal property owners. I don't think just anybody willy-nilly. I think you should have to have legal rights to connect, right?
I think so too.
Yes, no one can just do it on their own. They have to
Yeah,
get
but
a
the way
permit
it says-
from the water department.
Charge to an applicant who apply. It should say charge to the legal property owner.
Right.
Yeah.
Corporation stop, that was one. So did you have something on that, Albert?
No, that's just, that's two parts. That's where they put the tap into the main.
Yep.
The town does that, and then there's a shut-off valve on top of it, and that's why they call it the corporation stop.
Okay.
That's pretty clean. That's always the town's responsibility.
Okay.
For new additions, they do the tapping and
All right, curb stop. So we don't have to, I just gave examples of ones that I thought had some fluidity to what it was we were looking for. So I'm not looking for a determination on that. And on delinquency,
then we just back up
Yeah.
to C, the curb stop.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say again, that's one of the ones of the three that we've got to consider. If none exists, what is the line of responsibility?
right,
And then two, with the curb stop, if it's on private property, are we clear? So when Judy asks, who's responsible, we're gonna say from the corporation to the curb stop on private property, the town will take care of that, and then from the curb stop into the house, the homeowner would, because.
I just think once again with that, that would just encourage me to put a curb stop about 12 inches from the foundation of my house.
No, for new construction and replacement, it has to follow the protocol being on the right of way. This is, the ones that is on private property currently, and for whatever reason, it's no longer functioning. And the homeowner says, I can't shut my water off, or like the one that Kyle had, where they had to leave the wrench in it in order for it to stay shut. Now, if that homeowner came and said, I want to replace that, the policy is, okay, the town is going to put the curb stop on their property, it says so, we're going to be responsible from there to the new curb stop, or dig up the current curb stop so we can use the new one. That's the gray area.
Well,
I would say you were like, for example, one of them that we have to do, I'm more in favor of digging up the current one and just replacing the valve instead of digging up a new curb stop,
Yeah.
which is going to be more
Yeah,
costly and more time.
Have to dig
time.
up two
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah, when they did Chatterton Park, they didn't dig up all the curb stops. They just put new ones in.
When they did Park Street, they put new curb stops. All come out
Yeah,
the
we
street.
have new curb stops, but they didn't take the old ones out.
Yes, they did. Well, I did because I replaced the water line. So mine was, I had to pay for that.
They
I had
ran
to-
the water line all the way up, and the curb stop is right in the middle of my front yard.
Yeah, but in my house, I had to replace the water line to my house, myself.
Oh, that's, that's
and
new, that's all.
replacement, it's new, yes.
So one of the things would be on Newton Street, okay? We'd love to do that road over, pave it over. We've
Yeah.
got people without curb stops. Once we dig it up, have the lines, we'd like to put in curb stops. So it would be more advantageous to us to put the curb stops closer to the main rather than
The
deep
road.
into the property,
in the
or
hole.
deep into the property where a lot of them are. So,
There's not
I
a
know.
lot of options there. It's like in the road or in the,
right, but, the curb stop I'd rather not dig up the road. I want
Yeah.
the curb stop on the property, but not deep into the property.
well, why couldn't you say curb stops are in the front property line, on the front property line? Why couldn't you say something like that? You want the curb stop to be in the front of the house, first of all, because that's, water's coming in through the front. That's why we've done all these projects, so we don't have water coming in the back of houses. So,
We do.
Well, yeah, I
Ours
was
comes
saying,
off East Street, comes through my backyard, my curb stop's about 2 feet from the back garage. It sticks up out of the lawn about this high.
Your exception to the rule.
well, that's why they did all ours up in Chatterton Park, because they were coming in the back of the house.
And it comes through, and I don't know where, I think it goes off into Patch and takes,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think you've got to come up with some kind of, don't think it can just be new construction. I think it has to be replacement.
Replacement, yes.
It's going to be more replacement than new construction with curb stops. So that the continuity has to be with that, in my opinion. But, I mean, that's something we can think about.
Yep, that's another one then. You know,
Okay.
because all three of them gotta be looked at simultaneously.
Yeah.
'Cause they all have verbiage in there about who's responsible for it, and you have to think about the scenarios like Judy
Yeah.
has already brought up to us.
Yeah, and it also might be something that, like, even asking the water guys, like, where should the curb stop be on the property? Should it be 2 feet in from the property line, or, because nobody wants it getting buried in the driveway or in the road, or when you do work on the road, getting dug up because it's so close to
Right.
the road.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that might be a Kyle or water department question about what would be the recommended location.
And you mentioned that when they did Park Street, of course, I wanted to change my water line, and I had to, you know, file the permit with the town. And the one thing that was requested is, because they went diagonally across my driveway, I wanted to know if they could take a dog leg just parallel to my driveway and come straight out to the street, and they said yes, they permitted that, so.
Yeah, so I think that would be good. Okay. So delinquency. So it just didn't seem like when I read this that this is kind of what we're doing, right?
Which one are you on, Lisa?
15.
15, yeah.
I think it's a lot more extensive than that.
Well, and so that, I mean, it seems like, to me, delinquency is the failure of the ratepayer to tender payment for a valid bill. How, beyond that, seems like how you're or charged within 30 days. I don't understand what that means.
Well, I think they're saying, instead of saying a bill, they're saying a charge. You have a charge, that's 30 days. Yes. So you could easily say delinquency is just, you know, any
Yeah.
charge for your utility that's 30 days past due.
Yeah, I think it's that simple. It seems like a lot of
Right,
stuff
right.
with the postmark
Yep.
and seriously, are we requiring on the postal service these days? And I guess the other question is, do we want things in here to say ratepayer or legal property owner? Because I could rent property and be the ratepayer.
Yeah, we don't want you to be them.
I understand that. But if I'm the one paying the utility, do I become classified as the ratepayer underneath this? If I'm not the one receiving?
Yeah, I mean, it's not normal, ever. It's only, the only cases I've seen it is when the owner does not pay and the tenant is willing to pay so they can still have water, then they become the ratepayer.
We're not gonna have a lot of those.
Ratepayer means, or is brought up many times in the ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a, you know, definition of ratepayer, and that's one thing that we may have to look at, you know, when we get to it. But, yeah, there is a definition for ratepayer, and the ratepayer appears many times in the ordinance.
Well, I guess ratepayer means the property owner.
Yes.
But it also says user or occupant. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's something we can go back and change. That's like cleaning up,
Yeah.
you know, he, she for, but I noticed that in just thinking about some of the things.
And that was a tool I used across the way, in that they're not the property owners, but they are occupants. So that was my door to get them into this ordinance, is they are a ratepayer because they are an occupant, and this said occupant.
They're not ratepayers
Yeah.
because they don't pay for water.
No, it's the building owner, and the building owner is responsible, even if they move out, the building owner is responsible.
But you could have a business where they don't, like, he could make each one of them pay their water and they'd be ratepayers.
Yeah.
But
It
we've got to
says-
have the opportunity to bill them as a base fee.
Right, well, that's different, because it says ratepayer means the property owner, user, or occupant of any tenement, which that seems like a 1950s term to me, but that could just be me. House or building who takes the water of the town. So, I don't know, I think there's probably a better word than ratepayer that we should.
I would just leave it as the property owner, that's all.
Yeah, I think that, because the property owner is the person who should be getting the bill. So.
They do, yes, you're right.
Well, they can make the tenant pay in other ways.
Right, but that's between the property owner and
And the
that, yeah, so. Okay,
Well, then they put the ratepayer is the tenant. That's the way they do it. It's put in their name and it goes to them. It doesn't go to the owner.
how does that work? Because when we send the property bills out, the property bills
When
include.
there's one property I'm thinking of right now where it was a tenant and that's who's listed on the utility.
Yeah, but that was because they allowed them to do.
Right, the homeowner did.
Yeah,
Right,
but
but that's what I'm saying.
I think if we listed in here, then that's different. That's a agreement between the two of them.
Right, but they come down, they change it into their name, so then that's who it goes to.
Yeah, well, I say that's messy, but that's just me. Because then pretty soon everybody throws their hands up in the air and says, oh, I didn't get a bill, I'm not responsible. Okay. Anything else on page 3?
I didn't have anything till 37. It's the things you guys bounced out.
Okay, well, and the other thing is, like, under fire service, it says user, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of words that are interchangeable, so. Okay, what's the next one? 37?
37 is what I have. Ratepayer.
Right. Okay. Does anybody have anything before 37?
No, I think that,
Yeah, you could put property owner in parentheses after ratepayer.
Yeah, it says ratepayer means property owner.
Right.
I would take out tenement, but that might just be me. I'm not sure we have a lot of tenement housing.
So then the ratepayer is not just property owner.
Well, it is. It is.
Not by that definition. It's
Well,
not.
that's what I would say. Ratepayer means legal property owner.
Then you gotta take the other ones
Period.
out.
yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. We got words, we're defining each definition in
Yeah.
another definition.
Well, you have ratepayer means property owner, user, or occupant. So if you want the ratepayer to be the property owner, you have to take out the user or occupant.
Right. So essentially, you just got the property owner, but that's what I said, your definitions are defining other definitions.
It says property owner. Owner means that person identified as the owner of the property by recorded deed.
All you take out is the occupant or tenant.
You just put ratepayer means property owner.
yeah, we don't have any tenements anymore.
Period.
This was like years ago when the company
It's a
you know, had
Tenement house.
tenement houses with 4 families in them, you know.
Albert, just talk.
I don't want to, you know, in case somebody speaks up, but I just wanted to say, Judy identified an item that we have to capture. You know, a tenant that has the water bill coming to their name, to their address. You know, if that's got to get captured, so having tenant there or occupant, you know, does capture that scenario.
But then but that you don't want, no, because then if I rent someplace and I don't have an agreement, I'm not responsible as the ratepayer. It's only if you have an agreement with the homeowner. So you may want to just say with the property owner, or under certain circumstances where there's an agreement between the owner and a tenant or user.
I
Yeah, as
don't,
long as we can capture it, because that's,
I mean, if you want to include that in there, I mean,
I think that just confuses things.
I don't even think you want to open the door for it. If you have one, it becomes an anomaly. It's
Right.
not something that we want to encourage.
Yeah,
Because,
no,
I know, but if it happens, then we're going to be like, oh, okay, so.
Well, yeah, then you're gonna
Somewhere,
say,
can we do that? Can we not do that?
no, I'd say no. I would say no. I'd say
Yeah.
the property owner is the property owner and that's it.
yeah,
Tenant has nothing to do with,
yeah, if they want the tenant to pay water and sewer, then you include that in, you know, however they structure their contract.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Get
got
us
to-
out of
But,
that.
okay, so here comes the problem. You have a tenant who's paying the utility becomes delinquent, you put it up for tax sale because the tenant is no longer paying.
Right.
well, that's the property owner's problem.
I know, but it becomes a nightmare too, because then also they're a tenant, so if they're not using it, then we can't shut it off because they're a tenant and it's in the winter and they're not paying it. You don't want the tenant to have
Have the
them
power.
paying it.
Yeah, that's, I'd keep them right out of it.
But I'm saying we can't say you can't do that.
I wouldn't list it in here as a tenant. I would take the tenant right out of the verbiage altogether because it keeps that door open. It's the ratepayer or the owner that's responsible for that, and that's it. That's all that should be said. If the homeowner decides he wants the tenant, and they have some agreement that the tenant is gonna pay, well, they have to keep that to themselves. As long as it gets paid, that's fine. We only have the one person to deal with, and that's the homeowner, not the tenant.
But then when the tenant doesn't pay,
Well,
That's the
we
homeowners.
can't do anything about it.
that's still the homeowner's problem.
No, because it's put into the tenant's name, so we can't do anything about it. Because the homeowner's not living there, the tenant is, and it's in the winter, and you can't shut their water off.
You can't shut it off
Shut their
anyway.
water off anyway.
Well, I know, but I'm saying if they're delinquent, we can't do anything to the tenant.
Well, you can't anyways, no matter whose name it's in.
I know, but I'm just saying I feel like it's gotta be, if it comes up, then you gotta figure out how to,
I don't know, that's my suggestion, is keep the tenant out of it. I wouldn't put it in.
I mean, so what would you write then? The ratepayer is the property owner or,
Occupancy, whoever's occupying them.
I don't know, I guess,
But you can't go after that tenant.
no.
Or why set the stage?
so why does it change? Because our legal route is gonna be to the property owner no matter what. Whether they have an agreement with the tenant to pay or not. Our agreement, our contract, so to speak, is with the property owner.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just know that there's been issues before where it's like, it's not in the homeowner's name any longer, it's in the tenant's, the tenant doesn't pay, we have no recourse because it's not their property.
But you can still tax sell it because it's not being paid, and the
Yeah.
legal owner is not paying that as defined in the regulations, who is the ratepayer, who is the legal owner. So I mean, the instances I know of when it's happened, it's because we allowed it to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they thought it was gonna be a way to get money.
Right.
And it turned out to be a fiasco.
All right, then I would just take it out of there.
I
Yeah,
would just
let's
put
take it out.
ratepayer means property owner, period.
Yeah,
I mean, once we do them and have a draft, we're gonna send them to have,
Oh,
someone review them, and when they say, oh, absolutely not, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard,
yeah.
then we can say, oh, okay, well, we thought we were
no,
so
we-
clever.
You know, for one person that we have now,
Right,
Yeah.
at some point, that may change.
right.
All right, so 25, Albert, says industrial, and you were talking about commercial, industrial, residential.
Yeah, it defines, industrial buildings, it defines commercial buildings and residential buildings. But the industrial, they call them structures. Why they don't call them buildings, I don't know. But those are the three definitions. That's why I felt
Yeah.
we needed to add the business unit and define what a business unit is
Okay.
Yeah,
as a unit. And each unit is going to get a base fee charged to them. But getting back to that ratepayer means property owner who takes water from the town of Proctor. I went through that over here at Zion's. We're not using any water, taking any water. And I think that verbiage should be changed to receives water service from the Proctor water system.
that's basically what it is. It's like you have service coming into your house. Like people will say, well, I don't use the water. It's like, well, you have service coming into
Yes,
your house.
that's why I think that
Therefore you're
verbiage
charged.
should be
Right.
On,
receives water service from the Proctor water system.
and where are you saying that, for ratepayer?
Takes the water of the town of Proctor. Who takes the water? Takes the
No,
water.
what number are you looking
Oh,
at?
37, ratepayer.
Oh,
The last few words of that sentence.
oh, who takes the water of the town of Proctor?
And you want that changed to,
Who receives water service from the Proctor water system. For anybody that's within 200 feet of a water main, we tell them you have to take water service. When you look at our rate structure in there, it says, on that, those that use the system, i.e. receive water service.
yeah.
So we use that verbiage in other places, we just didn't, there.
Yeah,
But I think you also address that if we're gonna have a base fee. It's just like having electric to your house. My house may sit vacant for 6 months. There's still a base fee that I'm paying every month. So
Yeah.
I think that's part of how that is addressed also.
yeah.
But, I mean, I have no objection to having it there.
Sampling, secretaries.
So service connection was one that we had.
that's a little wordy.
It's,
And so should that say individual residential, commercial, or individual residential living unit, business unit, commercial unit, industrial unit? I mean, are we saying commercial and business are different?
Where are we, you said what number?
42.
42? No, service connection stays the same, it's just,
That was one you guys raised last week.
Yeah.
yeah, no, but
To
the
change it.
service connection means it's the entire connection from the water main to inside the cellar. That is the service connection. And that's why it says, the service line is from the corporation to the curb stop. The building connection line is from the curb stop to the shut off in the basement. So that's the two of them put together. They're called the service connection. And in there, it says the cost of construction shall be borne by the property owner. Once installed, the responsibility for maintenance and repairs of the service line and all costs associated, or I'm on the service line,
Yeah, I was like, we're
Yeah, I
not
was
even.
on the next one, I was on the next one.
My
I had it
question
highlighted.
is,
I had it highlighted, but.
my question was, are we saying business and commercial are two different things? We have a definition for residential, you have a definition for commercial, you have a definition for industrial. You added a definition for business. My question is, if you're adding a business definition, shouldn't it say residential living unit, comma, business unit, comma, commercial unit, or industrial? Or are you saying commercial and business are the same?
The commercial business is the building, that's connected, and that's where it gets confusing in that, we have units, we have dwelling units, we define what dwelling units are, and we also got to define what business units are. Business units are going to be all of the commercial buildings and all of the industrial buildings.
Oh, so a
And
business unit is anything outside of a residential unit?
Yes.
So industrial, commercial are comprised of business units.
Yes, I did
Business
not get
units are
that.
going to be made up of the,
I thought business was a separate
no,
entity,
it was going to
like
be a unit
business.
identification for the commercial and,
So we don't need to put business in this.
No,
Okay,
it's just
I
like- just
misunderstood
like-
the first definition.
dwelling unit, that incorporates, all the housing units.
Okay.
So can we just put individual, commercial, and industrial units instead of putting individual, living unit, commercial unit? Seems so wordy, like,
And I think it probably has to say living unit.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Lisa, because, those really shouldn't say commercial unit and industrial unit. We call those commercial buildings and industrial buildings.
It means a single water line, so should it say, should unit be taken out of each one of those then? Or should it say
yes,
individual,
because-
or should it say individual residential living unit and business unit?
I would say they probably should read residential buildings, commercial buildings, industrial structures, still using the verbiage that's there, because, again, we go back to Simon's building.
Yeah.
We're saying residential living unit. How many living units do you have there? Do you have 17 or 16 service lines, connections going to that building? No, you probably have one service connection. The high school, well, no, it's different. It's only one school, but
so residential, those should still remain residential living unit, not just
Yeah.
that's
residential.
not a unit. A
Not a-
duplex, that's a unit. That's a residential unit, well, that's a commercial. The house on the corner, the 5 apartments, corner of Grove and
Yep.
Yeah,
South Street,
Yeah.
there's 5 apartments there. They probably have one service connection going into that building. So that definition's got to fit to them, be applicable for that building. That's a residential building. That's not a residential unit. It has 5 units. It has 5 dwelling units in it according to our ordinance. But it is a residential building. And when you read what a residential building is, it'll tell you, what it is.
I think when they sell it, it's commercial property.
okay.
That one's commercial. How can a duplex be listed as a commercial?
Well, that's not, that house on the road is a duplex, it's got probably
A-
6 apartments.
Okay, I thought it was 5.
I think they have 4. They have 4 units.
Well, they
But
have
anyway,
2, 4. I I bet they could have 5. Okay, so we'll change that. All right, anything else on page 5?
You guys had 43, 44, and 50 all mentioned. I just circled.
Yes, 43, again, was that service line. And then I read that sentence, I don't know if you want to go through it again once already. But again, that goes with the other two we talked about, is where the town is responsible and where the homeowner is responsible. And when we put the 3 together, we want to make sure they all are in agreement with one another.
I guess my only issue with 43 is that it only talks about new construction. I just feel like there should be something in each one that addresses replacement or updated or repaired or something. It does?
No, that's, all those things, I agree with you, Lisa. That's why, those are the things we got to capture, is those that are in line without shut-offs or curb stops.
Because I think that it almost should say like, and maybe it does, I mean, I read this like a while ago, but, like if I'm gonna replace my line, let's say, I should have to notify the town that I'm doing that. I should have, I shouldn't just hire someone to come and dig up and do that. There should be some notification so that even though I'm replacing existing, I don't know, pipe, structure, whatever we're calling it, that it's done to the appropriate standard. It shouldn't be outside of any purview just because you're replacing it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, you have to contact the town, because if you're replacing the curb stop, you have to have the main shut off. You have to have the water shut off to replace that.
Yeah, but you could hire somebody, you can have work on your house done, they can turn the curb stop off. You don't have to
No,
have.
I'm saying if you've got to replace the curb stop, how are you going to shut the water off?
No, I'm saying if you're like replacing a pipe or something.
Oh.
Yeah, like you're digging it up and replacing something.
Yes, I thought you said you were replacing the curb stop.
No.
But no, that'd be good to have in our records here that the entire line was replaced, maybe with a date or something, or a year.
I don't know, it just, we have a lot of things that talk about new construction. I don't think we're gonna see that much new construction.
Yeah.
Unless we're tearing a lot of stuff down and starting over
Yeah.
myself. There's just
Any pieces of property left?
not.
Well, I mean, you could just put about, if the first line makes sense, and then just add a second line, just saying for new construction,
Yeah.
instead of,
I thought that entire paragraph went together.
huh?
On the service line you're talking about?
Yeah,
I thought that entire paragraph was kind of clear, and we're the only thing that didn't capture some of the ones that don't have curb stops, and it's the issue about if the curb stop is private property, we decided we're still going to take care of from the corporation to the curb stop, whether it's on right of way or private property, we're going to take care of that section, and the homeowner takes care of the rest. The problem area is that one that doesn't have a curb stop.
Yeah, and I think we're down to just one or two.
And we decided, I think, kind of tonight, that we're going to dig up in the right of way and put a curb stop in, and
Yeah, of course, that one you probably.
we'll have one. And the other one, like Lisa said, I
Maybe.
didn't realize they left them, but it just would be left on.
They might do with the new fittings, you might be able to do a curb stop without shutting it off at the main line.
Not if we put a new one in.
Do we need special
They gotta
charges?
cut and put a splice in there.
Do we need that?
it's in
put
the
a fitting
rate
in.
sheet, all these things that we never
Nipple
charge.
on both sides.
$25 to turn your water back on, which you know, they can't even pay their,
Or there's a shut off
But
by
do
the
you have
corporation.
to call
If they
it
could-
a
well, they'd
special
have to get the
charge? Can't you
corporation.
just call it like
I think it was
maintenance or something?
another,
Oh, additional fees it says. Additional. It doesn't even call it special. It calls it additional fees. So it
See,
doesn't,
and you
that's
got
not even in
48 that
compliance.
talks about that
'Cause
tapping
they're not called the
sleeve.
same thing.
I know.
That's for the corporation.
Well, I guess,
Huh?
That's for the corporation, so they can do it without, that's the water main.
Cheers
Yeah,
reflection.
but if
That's
you
so they can
define
tap the water main
something that
without
it's
shutting
supposed
the water
to be.
main off.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be my bonus for trying to get all these people to pay their,
I think you should just take that out.
the whole thing.
Special charges, yeah.
Should we have additional charges? Is that it?
I guess you could add that, but it doesn't. Either that or, I mean, I don't think it's a special charge if you're getting a new
No, it's not
service connection.
it's additional when it's shut off.
So, but if for me, I would say, well, you don't even have anything listed on your rate sheet for special.
Right, so
You
just
defi-
change it to additional, move it to the front.
Okay.
Or just take it off the rate sheet. one or the other.
Well, does it have to be on the rate sheet?
I don't know why it's there.
To me, that's like informational, like when you're.
Well, I think it's because it's it's a rate. It's a cost, so maybe
Oh.
that's why they do it.
Okay. Couldn't you just call them rate fees or just fees?
I mean,
Because up here, you're gonna call it a unit,
they're only fees for when they're shut off, really.
yeah.
So it's not like there are additional charges on top of them getting
So
their
I would
regular
just
bill.
call them, just call it, something fees. I would take special charges out. I don't think having to pay
And
your,
maybe just instead of there, put it under like the delinquent
yeah,
heading that there's additional charges when your water has to be turned on or whatever.
yeah, where does it say? Oh, does it say that under delinquency? Delinquency just says failure of the ratepayer to tender payment for a valid bill or charge. You could write, additional fees may be applied per delinquency, I mean, the swimming pool isn't a delinquency, but.
Which
Yeah,
one
that's
are you
true.
working on now?
So 44 is special charges, but we don't have anything on the rate chart that says special. It says additional fees. So it's like you're defining something that's not there. Could you just put the fees that are on the rate charge under, just highlight those under the delinquency, say,
But you're right, because they're additional fees, they're not, none of them, there's only one that refers to delinquent accounts, basically.
yeah,
Well, two. So I would just put it under additional fees,
okay,
a separate item.
all right.
Just list it as it is on the rate sheet, so they kind of go,
Just list this, just
Yeah,
list what
yeah.
those are.
yeah.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay. So we'll add, under A, additional fees.
And I have unconnected properties as the next one that was raised.
What is it?
Unconnected properties,
I'm on the wrong page.
50.
Unconnected properties, number 50.
what number is that one we're going to?
50.
50.
Okay, 50.
But I thought if you were with 200 feet, we made you sign up, no?
Do we have any?
I don't,
No, I think we are aggressive getting people that's within the water main. The ordinance says you have to connect to the water main if you're within 200 feet of it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just, so those people that put up a new house and it's 100 feet from the water main, no, I'm gonna put in a well. No, you're not, you're gonna,
Okay.
right,
be
yeah.
connected to the water main.
Don't we have some people in town though that don't use the water and they have a well?
Yeah, right up on School Street. There's a house that has a well, and they're grandfathered. They can't do any maintenance on it, but as long as that well is working, they can use the well water. They don't have to have
Which house is that?
Bob Allard told me, and I think it's across from, I don't want to mention any names, but it's on this side going up the hill on the right. One of those houses.
On the left?
No, on the right. Going up the hill on this side. It's on the right. That's what Bob Allard told me. Now, he mentioned another one also to me, but that does address those.
So if something happens, they can't do maintenance, so they have to connect to the
Yes,
town.
then they have to-
All right, got it. Okay.
Okay.
Then I have 51 unit, dwelling unit.
Did you have something for that, Albert?
Dwelling unit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you've read this, but, I don't know, a dwelling unit shall mean a livable abode which includes at a minimum a kitchen or kitchenette, bathroom and bedroom, or other room that serves as a sleeping quarters. No minimum number of rooms is required to serve those functions. Rather than going in here about maids and stuff and housekeepers and
Well, what shall I do with my housekeeper then?
well, if you want to leave it, that's just
No.
a possibility.
right.
Just
Okay,
if you have
I
a
think-
kitchen or kitchenette, you have a bedroom and a bathroom, then that's considered a living unit.
Okay.
Or you can leave it the way it is.
No. I think it's awful.
I think the whole thing is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's like,
But no,
I feel
some
like
people say my daughter and son want to put an addition on and let me live in their house.
Right.
And we have a shared kitchen,
Right.
but I have my own rooms, so again, hopefully for scenarios like that, this ordinance would address those. If it's got a kitchenette, a bathroom, and a bedroom, well, then that's a separate living unit. If not, then it's, just one unit, living unit.
Well, I think that's where they got in trouble up on Center Street about that. Because I could be a kosher family and you cannot charge me twice, and that was kind of what happened up there, I think, if I recall correctly.
And again, I don't know if we want to expand this, that's just a pretty
I
simple,
think we
clean.
need to minimize it.
Well, I think he can provide that definition, and then once we have all those definitions in front of us, it's easier to look at that and then look at the old one and pick and paw which pieces you want. Okay.
Because
We don't
when you
have
get to
any
the
frats
Z's,
or
you're going to be going
sororities
back
or
to the
anything else.
A's.
No.
Well, maybe we'll have some by the time we get going.
Right.
Okay. Water department, water supply.
Lisa,
Yeah.
we're on U. I was just, if people would consider adding another U word.
Okay.
That was a problem I had over here was, what is included, and I hope we use the base fee, what's included in the base fee? Because in our ordinance here, and there's another one that says we get to charge for, that was one thing I wanted to bring up, facilities. I'll have to go back to that one. Facilities or extra equipment and occupancy, or, like the schools, they should be given those additional fees. Anything over one, that should be a usage charge. Anything over one unit, whatever we call it, we've got to decide yet, but while we're calling a base unit, the value there is going to be one charge. So anybody that's going to be charged more than one, they're going to be charged a usage charge. And that's why I think we should add a usage charge. And that shall mean the charge for water usage over the water allocation included in the base fee. The water allocation included in the base fee is 400 gallons per day. Because when we calculate what the school is going to use, what the daycare is going to use, what businesses are going to use, we're gonna come up with a table, and the table is gonna say for 100 people, you're gonna be charged, 2.1 or whatever the number is. Well, 1 is included in the base fee, so you're only gonna be charged an additional 1. So 1 plus 1.1 is 2.1. So we'll get to that when we get to base fees, but I just think we should add a usage charge, a usage fee. Or at least consider a usage fee. That would be for everything over usage that is included in the base fee. Because
Okay. All right. Can that be good for tonight? I'm dying here. And I think if you share your definitions with Judy, then we can, it'll be easier.
Yeah.
And then let's try at the next meeting just to clean up the definitions. We need the definitions to be clean to move into the next part, I think.
Yeah. Sounds like a,
Does that make sense?
makes sense, yes.
Very good. So motion to move out, do we need to go into the sewer commissioners?
No, I'll just do an update of everything
Okay.
of my stuff, so it's.
So a motion to move out Board of Water
going to the Board of Sewer?
at 7:27 and re-enter the select board meeting. We just won't enter sewer.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah.
All right? Motion?
Motion to move?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll go to manager's report and the sheriff's report.
Yeah.
Oh, did you find out about that from the sheriff? About the,
Ticketing?
yeah,
Yes.
is that what it is? $10?
Yep, because it's their rate, because we don't have anything in the ordinance.
Sure you're not gonna make it on
Yeah, Kate Street.
You notice this was
So I said if we have to amend it, then we've got to amend North Street too then.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, in the sheriff's report, I thought maybe it was a misprint, but they gave, on the last page, 2 parking tickets on Kane Street. And they must have been then $5 a piece.
$5?
Yeah, I would do it for $5. I pay $5 to go places parking.
So it seems like we need to look at amending that in the ordinance, because the problem is I guess we don't have it, and so.
The traffic ordinance, yeah. So I reached out to the sheriff, and because it's not in our ordinance, specifically speaking to Kane Street, which I also suggested North Street because we put no parking signs, that's not enough. It has to be built into the ordinance that there can't be parking there anytime. Then they can go by the state statute and do their fee schedule and charge more. Otherwise, they're going by the sheriff's schedule, which is much less. $5 ticket, next time bumped up, next time bumped up, so.
So can we just open that ordinance, just make those changes and
I
warn
would
it?
think so, yeah.
Okay. So could we look about maybe doing that, so at least maybe we have that in place, particularly when winter being and stuff like that comes up. Would that be okay? So Kane and North Street?
Yep, because they both have no parking.
Okay. And just make that adjustment, because then there's a whole process to warn that. Yeah, go ahead,
I was
Albert.
just gonna ask, on Bluff Street, the parking issues we had there.
Yep.
Would their fine structure be according to the sheriff's department, or their fine structure be to the ordinance?
I don't have signs there.
It would probably be the sheriff's,
Okay.
unless Bluff is specifically described as there shall be no parking in our ordinance.
And we don't have that.
But we don't have signs though, all right, so.
So it's $100, I think.
But even,
that's
I mean, I didn't know you put
Yeah.
signs up on a street on both sides, no parking, it means nothing. And if you look at any other ordinances or any other ticket fees, there's nothing that states, like you can't park in handicap, you can't park on the sidewalk, you can't park in a crosswalk, but nothing says you can't park where there says no parking. Like, it's just so bizarre, so.
Yes.
All right, okay. Anything else for sure? All right. Managers report.
Any questions there other than that? I never know if I actually talked to you guys about this at the previous meetings because they happen after the fact, like I mentioned to you. So like at the Forester, I went through that property. We're going to go marking trees out to bid for the next 100+ acres. Pretty much, I did sign the contract finally for Synagro so that they can start moving. We're waiting for the electrician to get verification on the work, and then he has to order parts. I told him I would like the work to be done this week, if at all possible, so Synagro can get in there this week or next week for sure. So Synagro is going to get back to me with his date for status update when they're going to start removing the sludge. So.
Good, great.
Okay.
That's about it. I gave the guys a list today of shut-offs, 26
shut-offs?
26 shut-offs. Some, of course, we don't have curb stops for, so there's one that we're going to dig up so we can change the valve on it. And these are all that had agreements or got letters already. And
So in the next few days,
haven't broken.
maybe money will be flooding in.
yeah, they're going to go tomorrow, and then Wednesday they're out training.
Yeah.
But they can in the morning,
Do it
afternoon.
Thursday.
Yeah, and then Thursday I'm gone, and Friday I'm gone. So I told them if they come in, the girls can have them turn it back on.
Yeah.
But if they want agreements, which they shouldn't, because they all have agreements, so there shouldn't be an agreement made,
Yeah.
except the few who just got letters.
So the amount that they need to have paid to be turned back on, is that something you provide to them downstairs?
yeah, they have it downstairs. Mary,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like I could come in and say, I'm gonna pay $125 to get it.
If they don't have an agreement, then they can say, I want to set up an agreement, and I say, well, can you pay now? And then break it up to
Yeah.
pay up that.
But if I broke an agreement, there should be
Yes, it's in the agreement.
an amount.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask on that first item, because it says that original initial job is complete, the
Yep.
forest project. Have we
Yep.
received all the funds? Or, because that last time, I think last year when they concluded, I think it was like around $170,000.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten the final payment
Okay,
yet. The
fine.
last trucks probably went out
All right,
maybe 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
yep,
So we did a walkthrough and stuff, and then they were coming back, the contractor, to put up the logs across, kind of push some of the trees that weren't cut, that were low in the brush, and push it over and stuff like that. So it's pretty amazing what they did. There was actually one road where it was so muddy, they just cut tons of small trees and laid it across and made like a road out of branches so that they could go across it and stuff. So, but, yeah, they're great. I kind of wish we could have, we got to go out to bid, so hopefully they seem like they're going to bid again on it. So
That's good, so they're done up there.
no, we're going back out plenty more.
Yeah,
About
remark
100
some more.
acres.
Yeah.
And then what about Chittenden? Anything?
He's gonna try to get up to Chittenden and walk it and see if there's another way to get in there
Okay.
and get easements from people. The easements would cost us less than putting a new road in
Yeah.
Chittenden. So,
Yeah.
but that's over 500 acres, so
Yeah.
that he wants to harvest.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there anything else, old or new business? Anything else to put on? I don't care. Say it, Albert.
Oh, no,
Say
you got
it.
nothing to say.
Better not. Just say it.
It's hot here.
It is hot in here. I make a motion that we buy a new air conditioner for in here. Oh,
Yeah.
it seems
this
well worth the investment. Maybe you use $120 of the logging money.
Yeah,
God, it's miserable in here.
well, that's not anywhere near big enough.
Yeah. All right, motion to adjourn at 7:35.